Hello. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Monday, October 13th. We got a big show for you today. LSU is coming off a victory. They are now 5-1, ranked number 10 in the country, both in the AP and the coaches poll. They are on the road this weekend as underdogs for the first time ever against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's ranked 17th, I believe. They're also 5-1. Should be a good game. 11 a.m. start. But there's a lot to talk about this past weekend that we're going to get to. A lot of things happened in the game. Offense looked better. Obviously, still some hiccups. Trey'Dez Green coming out party. I mean, he was an absolute monster. He had a career game for himself. I feel like you're going to see a lot more of that as the season continues to go along. Defense did what they do. They continue to play really well. I'd give the defense, was elite. I mean, LaNorris Sellers was running for his life the entire game. They did things that we've anticipated them doing, and they continue to do, and they continue to get better. It feels like they're getting more and more comfortable playing with each other. The conversation going in was the offense. I thought the offense looked significantly better. Now you're going to say, they only scored 20 points. That game could have easily been 34-10. It wasn't because of turnovers. It wasn't because the offense wasn't moving the football. It was because self-inflicted wounds, which some would say, those were issues before. Yes, of course, they were. But these looked a little bit different than it did over the last 4 weeks. We have all SEC linebacker Cameron Vaughn in studio with us, as he is after every SEC game on Mondays. We have Bryce Kuhn coming on the show in about 5 minutes to talk all things LSU football. We obviously have producer Lloyd, right, doing his job. He's working on hard work, positivity, and Red Bull today. No Adderall.
That's right, no Adderall.
No Adderall in his system, but he's gone.
If you sell it, let me know.
He's locked in. He's ready to go. We have our two-time national champion, once in football, once in baseball. First-round pick by Chicago White Sox. Right-handed quarterback, left-handed center fielder.
Left-handed golfer.
Left-handed golfer was he graced us with his presence this weekend in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Not for us, though.
Not for us. But we got to see him.
Bigger things.
Ended up being for us. Co-host Jay Mitch, welcome back to the show. Like back in your humble abode over there in Houston.
Highfalutin.
Yeah, highfalutin.
Hey, you muted again.
You're muted yourself. See? You don't even want to talk to us anymore.
That's what y'all deserve after just trying to do me like that. Just trying to, God, no. I'm the one that made sure I came and found y'all. You're right or wrong.
You're right. You did.
Oh, yeah. Mikie didn't answer his phone.
No.
Uh-oh.
I answered.
That's what happens when you hang around Lloyd too much. You start to
I answered. It just, the service not great, so it didn't go through. He texted me at 1. I texted him back. Some reason my phone doesn't go through. I'm like, why isn't Jared texting me back? I looked at it. I got the big red thing. Didn't go through. I'm like, shit. But we made it work. Showed up.
Took pictures together.
Baby
bumping.
Got the wives got to see each other for first time in a long time, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Great weekend. We got a lot to talk about, obviously, through that. College football, wacky weekend. Penn State, third straight loss. James Franklin, see ya. Gone. $51 million buyout. Some people at LSU are saying, whoa, wait. They can do it. Why can't we do it? LSU's 5-1. Penn State's 3-3. A little different. Okay? I'll pump the brakes on that. I think Brian Kelly's here. So everybody just relax because he's not going anywhere. I would say the theme for the SEC football this past weekend was kind of like gritty. There's a lot of close games. A lot of teams had to just kind of gut some of these games out. Ole Miss almost lost to Washington State at home. They had to gut that game out. Georgia was on the ropes against Auburn. They were in jeopardy of going down 17-0. Auburn fumbled the football. If you talk to some Auburn fans, they believe that he scored before he fumbled. It was called a fumble on the field. Georgia takes over. Instead of Auburn going up 17-0, Georgia ends up scoring 20 unanswered points and beating them 20-10. Arkansas gave Tennessee all they wanted to handle. Florida A&M was a good game until A&M kind of ran away with that.
Pitt beats Florida State. Texas
takes down Oklahoma. The theme is just when you get to this point in the season, and you can attest this. I'm going to talk about this throughout the course of the show. when you get to the middle part of the season, it becomes a grind. You just got to survive and advance because everybody's beat up. Everybody's you're getting right in the middle of your SEC schedule. You're probably playing some really good teams, and it gets really tough, and you just got to figure out ways to win. LSU did that, and a lot of the good teams this weekend did that. And so hopefully the LSU can continue to do that next weekend. In the NFL world, Saints lose again. Great.
Losing the way you like to lose.
Hey, they're great at keeping it close. They are. They're great at keeping it entertaining. I was at the game. I was like, damn, we got a chance to win this game. Then Kayshawn, 2 touchdowns. His first game back in Louisiana. Scores 2 touchdowns against the Saints. Drake May looks like he is the real deal. Spencer Rattler looked good. It's not his fault they're losing. It's not his fault. I thought when he was going to be the starting quarterback, offense was going to be clunky. Offense has been kind of moving the football and not getting the end zone very much.
I don't know if you draft a quarterback now. You already got one.
If you get the top 3 pick, I'm not saying he's the guy, but if you get I don't think there's a quarterback coming out in the draft this year that you say, oh, this guy's a bona fide top 3 pick. So if that's the case and you get the top 3 pick, maybe you trade back, stockpile more picks. You got more issues than just the quarterback.
Yeah, and we all
know. So you got to figure that out. Maybe you get another first-round pick for next year. And if there's a quarterback that comes out next year, you don't win again. Maybe you package him. Who knows?
Why are they eating turkey?
I'm not Mikie Loomis. I don't know. They gave it to him in the booth.
Nice.
Toronto Blue Jays are losing 7-3. Not great.
Lost Toronto world renowned for their turkey.
Is that what they say? You just make that up?
I don't know what Canadians eat, but it's not turkey.
They have a different Thanksgiving. Maybe it's their.
Oh, maybe it is.
Come on now. Come on
now.
now.
He's here.
I'm a smart guy. That's why I was here.
Cerebral.
That's got me 4 years.
Cerebral. That's what got you.
I'm a mental player, man. I'm a brain.
That's it. Is Bryce in?
I will check.
I want to keep him waiting. Yeah,
he's a busy man.
He's a family man.
That's right. He's still not in here.
It's okay. That's fine. He said he was coming, so it's good.
I sent him the link. Let's see if he texts me.
But yeah, Blue Jays are down 1-0 and in danger of going down 2-0. Kevin Gosman threw really well last night. Gave up the homer to the big dumper.
Yep.
His big dumper's biggest fan was behind home plate.
That's right. The big plug.
What a wild T-shirt. So you know the big dumper? So
no.
Toronto, that's the catcher.
That was a salt canister.
Seattle Mariners catcher. His nickname is the Big Dumper. The bigger dude. He hit 60 homers this year.
Okay.
Switch hitter. There's a fan behind him that had
a butt plug,
a T-shirt, and he had a butt plug on the T-shirt for the Big Dumper.
To plug
and
him
it was
up.
right behind home plate, so it was on national TV.
It was on for 9 innings.
And the Big Dumper hit a homer to tie the game.
That was awesome.
And it was just the story writes itself. You know what I mean?
Playoff baseball.
It was great.
Salt canister.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's exactly what it was.
I mean, did they
say the dinner table?
Did they say anything about it on the broadcast at all, or did they just ignore it for 3 hours?
I don't know. I only saw it in the replay, and I was like, I can't believe this man wore this.
Got it made too. You can't buy that. That man made it.
Who let you into the stadium acting like this?
It's wild.
But yeah, we were worried about the dump it here guy, and it's like, oh, I'll see your dump it here 61 jersey.
I'm gonna raise you one,
and I raised you the butt plug.
See, I saw the dump it here guy. I knew
it was
that
great,
guy.
and then he caught the ball.
Yeah,
it was great. We talked about that. It was a curtain call because it was
wholesome and fun.
Yeah, it was like, hey, I did this, and it worked out for me, and now you get to go meet your idol and the whole thing. But I don't think butt plug guy's getting. I don't think he's getting invited to the dugout after.
No, maybe for the Mariners.
Yeah.
Hey, what if somebody was throwing hula hoops at him the whole game and he was trying to fall out?
I thought we were going to go full Buffalo and maybe see a couple plugs on the field because they went full dildo. And so
that was aggressive. Yeah, that was aggressive.
The shirt was aggressive.
That was a shirt.
Jeez.
I wonder if he lives his truth.
Lives his truth.
Maybe.
You
never know.
Might be corporate sponsorship. There wasn't like a website or nothing on there.
I know. It was
just
love of the game.
Yep. Just
lava lamp.
That's it.
Appreciation of the products.
That's it. All right. While I wait for Bryce, let's jump into this LSU conversation just for a little bit, just to kind of just a little appetizer. We gave off the air. We're having the conversation. We gave our rankings of the game, right? And we're going to break it down and talk about kind of what we saw, what we liked, what we didn't like. But to start, I want to give our rankings of what we are going to rank the offense and rank the defense of what you saw this past weekend. So, Ken, why don't you go first? What you saw from the defense, what you saw from the offense, if you had to grade them.
From the defense, I mean, obviously solid, bend but don't break. I love that about it. They, held them to 10 points. They won, so that's always key. It's like B+. I would say they had some missed tackles. I'm not a big fan of, and I'm surprised we hadn't had this conversation already. Blitzing on rundowns kind of drives me up a wall, which because
they ran away from it.
Creates so many seams, and it's so tough. And so that's obviously what led to the 70-yard run that they had.
Yep.
I'm gonna give defense a solid, probably A- B+ type situation. Offense was definitely much improved from what it had been. Nussmeier throwing better. There's obviously some turnovers, so offense is probably, I think they had like 100 and what they had 150
160-something yards rushing.
Yeah, so that's good. You gotta love that.
6 yards a carry.
We call it C+ on
that's exactly what I said. I think the offense is C+. I give the defense an A- because he gave up the big chunk play, but it was after a sudden change in the end zone, whatever. J. Mitch, what you got before we get to Bryce? And this will be a perfect segue into him.
I don't want to change it, so I'm obviously going to keep it the exact same. But I gave the defense an A-, the offense a C+. I just needed to see life and a little bit of health, particularly out of Nuss on the offensive side. And you got a lot of that. I wasn't exactly expecting you to come out with that health by being able to play full-fledged and it just be bang, 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 hit everywhere. But you see the offense break some explosive runs. You see the health of Nuss. You see him push the ball down the field. I'm encouraged by that.
Yep.
Am I encouraged by that final stat line? I'm not, but I'm encouraged by that. And on the other side of the ball with the defense, man, look, it's 4th game out of there are 5 games already right now where you're holding a team. The only team that scored over 10 points on them is Ole Miss, at Ole Miss. In a game where you only lost that game by 5. Like, I like what I'm seeing out of the defense, A- because, it wasn't perfect. You gave up the big runs. There were some other things that went on. But for someone that is an absolute running quarterback and a legit game breaker that could literally hurt you, to be able to kind of hold him down, keep him in the way they play defensively, A- on that. And I was encouraged by what I saw to be able to move forward through the meat of the schedule.
With that, let's bring in Bryce Kuhn. Resident of the show, just part one
of the guys.
Yeah, it's part of the squad now. Every Monday comes in, talks ball with us, whether it be football or baseball. He's a regular on the show no matter what the season is. He's got all the insight. On 3 covers LSU for On 3. Does a great job. Read his articles after the game this weekend. Great job covering the team, Bryce. Love that you're on the show. Love that you're part of the squad. As you watch that game, what would you grade LSU before we get into the nitty-gritty of this? What would you be your grade that you give LSU offensively and defensively for this past weekend?
Ooh, straight up grades, taking out the red pen, maybe the red marker.
You could grade a couple of those.
Yeah, because you played sports at LSU.
I'd go, I guess, defense. I did hear Mikie saying I agree with A-, and that's just being nitpicky, right?
Yep.
I think you give up the big play. Okay, I'm not knocking you out from an A+. I think this defense is really good. So maybe A- there. And then offensively, I'm going to go with B-.
Okay.
I'm going to go B- offensively.
So a little bit more than we did, but I like that.
Yeah, there's some things I like about it. There's some things I cannot stand about this offense. And if you read my article, Mikie, there's a spot along this team that I just cannot believe.
If you think Mikie read your article,
I did. I really did. I read it in my office today.
You don't have an On 3 account?
Yes, I do.
When'd you get
I
one?
don't. Stewie's got it.
Yeah.
But no, to the point, I'll go B- offense, A- defense.
Yep. And look, I want to talk about the offense, right? Because a lot of people are watching, and you've seen the first 4 or 5 games of the season, and the offense has been, they sputtered a lot. They have been inefficient. They've been boring. They've been lethargic. All of the adjectives that you want to put on this offense.
You're more than welcome to.
Yeah, that's very obvious. That's very obvious, right?
Yeah.
And so when you have all of those games and you see what you see, and everybody say, "Oh, we're going to see something different," you can't expect them to go from, hey, I don't know how to read to I'm a scholar. You know, like I'm doing all these things, right? It's got to be a progression. You have to learn how to get there. And so I think a lot of people thought they were going to see the 2019 offense and say, oh, that's what we have to see an improvement. I disagree with that. I thought we saw a significant improvement. I thought you saw Nuss look healthy. He made some throws that he hasn't made all year. He's made throws from one side of the hash, out routes to the other side. He made deep balls that he didn't underthrow. He was throwing off platform, which he's been doing, but he had some more zip on the ball. You could see it was a noticeable difference. Okay, he made a couple of bad reads. Obviously, he threw the interception at the goal line. He did the fadeaway over the middle with whatever. You had receivers make plays and make big runs after the catch. You know, Kyle Parker stepped up. Trey'Dez Green stepped up. And I think the big thing that everybody has been wanting to see is the running game. Are they going to be able to run? You ran for 6 yards a carry. And what I like the most, and I'm going to get this to you after this, is what I like the most is the first quarter. They ran the ball, and they did not have a lot of success running the football. They weren't getting a lot of push. They were getting maybe 1 yard, a couple negative plays in the running game. But they continued to stay with it, and you could see in the second quarter that it started to just open up for them. 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards. There's a couple of times where they had a 7-yard run where the guy kind of ankle tackled him, and he just missed making a big run. And then all of a sudden the floodgates opened. That's what a running game does. Right? You can't. It's not you're going to average 7 yards a carry every time you hand it. It's just cumulative that you're going to start having these big runs, and it's going to be 6-7 yards at the end of the game, hopefully. So that's what I like to see. And so you gave them a B-. I would imagine that's what you saw. Give me the things that you still don't like about this offense, though.
This is the third straight week you guys have gotten me on here, and I have to be mean.
No, I don't want you to be mean. Just you're being honest. It's not being mean. You know?
Right tackle. Like, I just...
Well, Brian Kelly came out, and he's sticking with him.
Yeah.
I was about to ask, did you see what he said in the presser? It feels like this is part of the... And correct me if I'm wrong. This is just the read I got from that conversation that happened out in the public. It felt very much NIL and transfer portal coded of, like, if we don't play him, he's leaving and already got burned by Zalance Hurd.
Maybe. I think Zalance Hurd was the better prospect, to be honest with you, going back to the recruiting rankings. I guess I'd say this. Like, right tackle's an issue. And let's preface it with this. Dylan Stewart might be the best edge rusher in college football. I mean, the kid is unbelievable. Yeah. So this is not an emotional take off of one game. I don't know who would have looked good out there. Like, I mean, Will Campbell struggled at times last year. Emory Jones struggled at times last year with him. Like, that was just how it was. So he's really good. But this is kind of this data sample's gotten really big. And whether you're into analytics or you're strictly the eye test, there's been nothing to suggest that Weston Davis has played good out there. I know people don't like to use PFF because they say some people use it as the Bible. I think it's a tool. It's not a Bible. Like, you don't use it as the only thing to determine. He has a 39 PFF grade this year. Yeah. I mean, that's awful. Like, and I'm not trying to take dog on the kid. It's awful. There's just multiple times where he was just whiffing. And, I think obviously you did a lot of things in spite of it. Kelly Day comes out and says they're going to stick with him. I just don't know how we don't have a real competition between him and Carius Kern, because this isn't like they can hide the fact that Carius Kern might offer something different. We watched him for a full game against an SEC opponent. Did he get beat? Yes. Did he look bad at times? Yes. The effort and physicality he plays with, to me, I want that on my offensive line. And I'd rather have it at guard because I think that's where he is long-term in Carius Kern. But, yeah, I just don't love Weston Davis out there. It scares me that you had to put him on an island. But here's the thing, too, right? You played a team, that's probably the best edge rusher he's going to face. Yeah. And you had to put him on an island. You were able to chip with the tight end, the running back. The problem is that can you combat that? Like the cost-benefit analysis, right? Like, can you do enough in other areas that it mitigates anything that you would have in terms of the issues right there at right tackle? And they did on Saturday. We'll see kind of what happens when you play a better offense. When you play a team that's a little bit better, what goes from there? Can your offense continue to improve? So that would be the one thing. And then I guess the other that I don't like, I mean, that was really the big thing. I'd love to see them get Varian Brown more involved. And Brian Kelly talked about that today. Like, he was like, look, best way to put what Kelly said is I think that was like a public, we have to be better, and I think it was intended for somebody in that room that has the label of OC and calls plays. Like, I think that was about as public you can get without throwing your guy under the bus in terms of what has to happen. Because I think that they have seen now, hey, when you make 14 a part of your offense, when you make Trey'Dez not just a part but the focal point, what you can do and how he's a matchup nightmare. And until somebody, Matthew Bruni, my coworker, said, until somebody gives him the Calvin Johnson treatment in the red zone, keep doing it. Run that every single time you get down there until they do something different. Kyle Parker looked really good. Barry Brown had that one catch and then 7 yards after the catch, and right there you saw, holy cow, this guy gets loose. It's 6 every time. So I just think that there's some opportunities. This was a good landing point, though, I think, offensively. And to your point about Nussmeier, man, I love the aggressiveness. That was the thing I loved about it. We just need to be real about who he is. He's a gunslinger.
No doubt.
You have to live with the bad. You've got to live with the good. You hope more often than not the good is going to outweigh the bad. I think it will. I think the numbers will match up with that. The decision-making wise, that goal line interception was a terrible decision. Just an awful decision. But, I'd rather see him be aggressive because some of the throws that he made, not even the ones he completed, the Chris Hilton throw, the throw to Nick Anderson in the corner of the end zone, he would have double clutched 2 weeks ago and checked down. Yep. And he didn't do that, and I like to see that.
Yep. Jared, you got one?
Yeah, Bryce, it's kind of funny you mentioned this again. I think there was multiple times, not just the one that you alluded to right there, but I believe in a pretty cryptic way of saying it because he didn't actually point it towards any person. There was 2 people that he was talking about in the conversation, and I guess some people could take it as he was talking about A, and some people could take it as he was talking about B. I've taken it as multiple times after this game concluded on Saturday that he's mentioned that the play calling's got to get better, right? And so I think if that's the case, if you're talking about all these other guys, is there a growing sense from kind of any of the players or any of the conversation that they're not exactly happy with how things are being called, dealing with who you have and the amount of weapons you have available for you on offense?
I think that there's always a sense of I want the ball more. And I can say that I do know that there is a sense of frustration from guys that they want to be featured more. Hey, they were sold on this, right? Some of your portal guys, Nick Anderson and Barry Brown. I'll go back to those 2 guys. They were sold on, hey, you come here, it's going to elevate your stock. Especially a guy like Barry Brown, who was an electric player at Kentucky. I guarantee you that kid didn't come to Baton Rouge thinking that he'd get less looks or less opportunities or things like that. So, yeah, I think there is a growing sentiment of when you walked into that room last week during the bye, and look, you saw different reports. Was there a secret players-only meeting? Did Brian Kelly really take charge this week? I think it was Jacques Doucet or Mike Scarborough kind of pointed out on social media at the game that looked like Kelly had a play sheet, all of these different things. When you go from that point, there's obviously a disconnect in what's happening in the play calling between player, head coach, quarterback, and OC. And however, whoever you want to pin it on, it has to get better because you saw guys, even I didn't think the scheming was great on Saturday night, and they still had some explosive plays and opportunities. Nuss goes well over 300 yards if Chris Hilton catches the football.
Well, that's another conversation.
At
what time is that?
Different.
At what point is the Chris Hilton experiment? You shelf that.
There's a reason he puts on the number 86 jersey and goes out there for special teams.
Yeah, that hurts.
Hey, hold on. He crushes his role in special teams.
Sure.
He does. He made a great tackle on punt. Sure. No, well, let me go here real quick. Finish Jared's answer. Yeah. So, yes, Jared, to your point, I think, yes, there is a little bit of a growing frustration. You've got guys that want the football. They were sold on something. It hasn't happened. Now, 7 games into this thing, you're sitting here thinking, okay, what do you have, or 6 games, however many it is now. Now you have a situation to where, does that get better? Is this a launching pad to where now you saw some guys get featured more? Let's take it to the next step. It has to get better. There's pressure on Joe Sloan, no doubt, regardless. And for a lot of people, they think that this may be it. And I don't know. I hate to speculate on people's jobs, but I do think that there's a lot of pressure there. So there's that. And then to Mikey's point, the Chris Hilton experiment. Look, that kid is a great kid. He is an awesome young man. He has been through a lot. I enjoyed getting to talk with him and his family at Media Days in Atlanta this past year. Great family. I don't know what the issue is because we know this kid can stretch the field. I don't know. Like, I guess I need to defer to the guys that played. Like, Jared, you played the position. When you watch Chris Hilton, he's gotten some opportunities. What does this come down to? Like, is it just strictly doesn't execute, a mental thing? Like, what is the deal for you? I mean, what would you say?
So when I watch it, man, like you run into guys who have, a lot of times I've seen a lot of guys who have a ton of upside, a ton of ability, but for whatever reason, they just don't finish. They just don't make the play. They just can't actually get across that finish line. And man, I don't really want to say that about the kid, but there's been multiple times over and over and over again where it's just not there. And so whether that's because he feels like he should be getting more opportunities, so when the opportunity comes, he's not ready because maybe he's thinking and talking and letting those things fester, whether it's just because he's not good enough, I don't know what the actual reason is, but there's been ample opportunity for him to make the play on the other side. And those plays are just not being made. And I think, too, there's another thing, like in college football, it would be more impactful if he was an NFL football player right now because of what his calling card is, because of what he does really well, which is stretch the field. Those plays that have turned into PIs in college football are 15 yards. In the league, they're 30, 40, 50.
Yeah.
It's completely different at that point, right? And so for him to not come down with balls, albeit sometimes you may be getting some of these PIs, they're nowhere near as impactful. So it's like, when you don't see him coming down with them, and then you only get the PIs, it's like, hey, at what point do we actually get this thing going? And I think the other thing, too, for me is what's really alarming when I watch him play is you really only see the opportunities come on deep balls. This isn't Chris Hilton's first year here. There has to be another route. There has to be something else in that route tree that he can do well, and it doesn't seem that they want to feature him in those opportunities, or if those opportunities are there for him. So those are the things that kind of are very puzzling when you watch him play. But yeah, man, it's hard to leave that on the sideline with there being so much ability there, but there's just no finish when you watch him play.
I'll add this, and I never do this. I hate that the kid doesn't have another year because I think he would be better served off spending it somewhere else. And I don't mean that he can't play at LSU, but to your point,
Right.
like we're not seeing him on the deep post. We're not seeing him on the slant. They're utilizing Barry and Brown, Aaron Anderson, even Kyle Parker, who kind of took over that role. It just doesn't feel like he's a fit for what they want to do because all we've been talking about for the past two off seasons is, hey, he's working on his route tree. He's becoming more of a polished route runner. He doesn't want to be the guy that's just known for running, the fade route and getting past a guy. I respect all that. At some point, whoever's in his corner probably needs to take a look at this, should have looked at this offense and said, hey, man, you've been here for so many years. They haven't even been willing to do that with you. And so whether it's a Joe Sloan issue, a Kelly issue, a Cortez Hankton problem, we can talk about his drops and all those kind of things, and I understand that's frustrating. I just don't know if he is a fit for what they want to do and what they can do with an offensive line that doesn't protect well. It's one of those things where it's like, how many real deep ball opportunities are you going to get? And then to your point, Jared, when you do get them, are you mentally focused, mentally ready, and locked in to make the play? And, man, it hurt to see him. Look, media is supposed to be unbiased, but when you interview these kids and you build a relationship and you hear the stories, like, that hurt everybody in that press box to see him not catch that football. Like, that sucked because you know how hard he's worked in the field, and that might have been Garrett's best throw of the year, by the way.
Yeah, right.
The ball that he threw to him, like that's So I don't know. To your point, I agree with you on a lot of things there.
And I don't bring it up to trash you because I'm with you. Like I root for him. I want him to do well. It's just, you see it and it just hasn't worked. It hasn't worked out the way anybody had planned it, and sometimes
it's unfortunate.
Yeah, sometimes it happens.
I'll put it like this. And think about it this way too, because like I said, I'm not trying to bury him at all. I'm really not. But we all know what last year was or wasn't for him in terms of the injuries and how he couldn't just get right, couldn't get on the field, couldn't get healthy, and then when he finally does in the bowl game, he pops.
Yeah.
I want you to just think about this season as a whole this year and tell me one highlight that really comes to mind. You literally have to go back to the Baylor game last year.
Right.
Well, he's been healthy all year. So it feels weird that you have all that ability and we still can't get it we just can't get that ball rolling. It's really puzzling when you watch him play.
Staying on the offensive side, Bryce, I want to talk about this too, because you mentioned some other names before the game, right? The 2 weeks leading up into the game, the conversation was, hey, they're going to have a more consistent rotation with the wide receivers. They're not just going to keep having these line changes and shift changes. They're going to let people get in some rhythm. And you kind of felt that. Obviously, Trey'Dez Green was a big part of the offense. It feels like that he's going to continue to be a focal point. That's what it's going to end up looking like, hopefully. And if that happens, right, if he's the guy, he's the mismatch, you're going to have other guys get open. It felt like Kyle Parker was more of a focus. Obviously, Aaron Anderson wasn't out there. They're going to make Barry and Brown a focus. Did you see or sense that this is kind of the 4 or 5 guys that they're going to have rotating in and out from here on out?
Yeah, because I really did kind of wonder, and I wanted to go back and look at this. Like, Xavier Thomas did have 4 targets, but he only had 1 catch. And I still think they really want him. Right. And I think they want to utilize him out of the backfield continuously there, too. But you go down that list, right? Like, Trey'Dez had 11 targets. Kyle Parker had 6. Barry Brown had 2. We need to see an uptick in that. I know we're not talking about necessarily receivers, or we're just went to tight ends, but like Bauer Sharp. Like, I thought coming out of the bye week that Sharp and Green would be very pivotal for giving Nussmeier something in the middle of the field to be able to utilize, not just as a check down, but we did see Sharp right on that little, drag route or screen route, whatever they kind of run, the little drag screen or whatever you want to call it. I think so. I'm not saying the Chris Hilton's experiment is over, but I just don't know what you do. And then how does Nick Anderson fit into this whole thing, right? Like, guys, C.J. Daniels is a good football player, and he's doing some things at Miami that I wish we would have seen him do. And for all the speedy slot guys that LSU has on this team, and I love them, they create for themselves. I mean, I mentioned earlier, Barry and Brown had the little 6-yard burst after that catch that he made that I thought was like, okay, there's a flash. You got to have the big-bodied option other than Trey'Dez Green. I mean, you just imagine what you can do if you can get Nick Anderson going. I think he's healthy. I think it's just a matter of getting him into the offense without forcing it. And that's kind of the problem, and I know maybe it's a roundabout way of answering your question, that I think they're facing right now because the offense has been scuffling. Garrett Nussmeier hasn't been right. You're kind of sitting here in a situation where you're heading into week 8, but your offense is maybe like on week 2 schedule because your quarterback hasn't been right. So now you're trying to I think I used this term on your guys' show last time. It's like the pitcher that doesn't get to throw in spring training. He comes out in May and he's ramping up, but hey, we're getting close to summer. Yeah. Like you just kind of, it's a weird fit. So I think they've settled on some things. I don't know what you do with Kyle Parker when Aaron Anderson comes back because I love Kyle Parker.
Me too.
He blocks really well. You saw what he did and took that slant route to the house. Like he's just the, I guess not the benefactor. He's at the mercy of Aaron Anderson, who's also a really good football player. So I think that you just find different ways to feature those players. But yeah, when you started going 7, 6, 7, 8 deep into the wide receiver rotation, I think you got to cut that thing down to where you're 4 or 5, and you're also talking about Green and Sharp, which pushes you to 6 or 7. So yeah, I mean, I do still want to see Nick Anderson get involved. You got to have a guy on 3rd and 7 can run the hitch and box somebody out other than 14. Yeah. And Nick Anderson can do that. It's a matter of utilizing that and being able to, like I said, not force it, but allow that progression to come along naturally.
And it does feel like that's where LSU is when you talk about in terms of forcing it. That when they put in these packages of players, that Chris Hilton comes in the game. I wonder what he's going to do. Oh, the only thing he's done all year. And people are just, it feels like coordinators are even, and I feel bad for I'm with you all on the same page of almost feel for him because when you're put in that spot, it's almost being like a pinch hitter. It's like, go hit a home run. Go do what the one thing that people know you can do, you're going to do it, and I expect to see it. And he just gets tackled half the time, and it's like, okay, well, that's 15 yards instead of 45. Then the one time he actually gets a good ball and is actually able to run underneath it, he drops it. So I see it, but LSU's offense is so. What happened to Destin Hill? I thought he had hand surgery. He's going to be back for week 3. He's just out, and he's not back.
He came out in some, and I need to go look at PFF because they do the snap breakdown. He came out in some formation that was near the goal line and blocking only. And I'm like, okay, so the guy who has a broken hand. If he has the club, maybe that helps him blocking, but I don't really know, what we're doing with that.
That's how he broke it.
He was a featured part of it. I guess to put a bow on my take on the receiving room, you have so much talent in this room. I just don't know if they know how to harness it all. That's the problem for me, and that's frustrating, right? Like if you're Joe Sloan, you're Cortez Hankton, like how do you not figure this out? Because you have what I think is still one of the more talented rooms on paper, but people are going to laugh at media for continuing to say that because they look at the lack of production, right? And I can only sit here and say so many more times, well, Nuss was hurt. Well, look, in a month, he's not going to be hurt. Right. So you're going to have to be sitting here talking about, A&M and Bama when you got those 2 games back-to-back with the bye week in between. You better have different route combinations and different levels to it. Like you better know exactly what your pass game is when you get back to Baton Rouge next weekend. And not saying that Vanderbilt can't challenge you in there.
We're underdogs.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know what I'm going to say about that. But yeah.
Jared,
I'll say this too. That was one of my worries with that receiver room, and it wasn't so much of if you think about that receiver room as a whole. Not only probably 3 of the more talented ones in the room, but 3 of the more productive players that were in that room a year ago or through their college career up until this point were all of the same type of player. So it was really hard to say that you were going to find a way that you were going to have Xavier Thomas on the field a lot, that you weren't going to have Barian Brown on the field a lot, that you weren't going to have Aaron Anderson on the field a lot. Well, that's 3 receiver spots. We're not running 4 receivers all game. Those guys are going to play a lot. So I really wondered how they were going to put this thing together, and up until this point, largely because of the injury with Nuss, it's been hard to put that together. But I want to ask you a little bit about the defensive side of the ball. I think the defensive side of the ball has been awesome this year. I'm not going to sit here and say they've been perfect, but when you've only given up 10 points or less to everybody you faced, except for one team on the road in a game you still only lost by 5 points and had a chance to win, I think you've done some really good things. But I want to talk about Harold Perkins a little bit. Inside the building, does it feel like there's a lot of satisfaction with how he's played? Because I think a lot of people on the outside keep clamoring for, hey, let him put his hand in the dirt and rush. And I think people don't understand or haven't seen or don't agree with the fact that they've used him largely as a spy type of player, especially against these teams that have running quarterbacks to kind of, well, I'm going to make sure that you understand that the most athletic person that we have over here, a guy who's an absolute closer, is going to be the guy that's stalking your quarterback, so you don't even think about trying to run with him. How has that been inside the building compared to what the jargon and what the conversation is outside the building?
And this weekend may have been his best game of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head when you talk about they love the fact that he can just I mean, the stalk is the best word, Jared. I mean, they love it. I mean, you have a guy who stalks and he finishes. Like, now, of course, LaNorris Sellers is a different animal in terms of what you got to be able to corral and a guy you can tackle. You know, that's totally different than anything you're going to face. But just the way that he is a really smart football player. Like, I mean, that's something I don't know if he gets enough credit, and maybe that's the media's fault, because as soon as he got on campus, all we talked about was like, hey, this kid's freaky. Like, you know, he's fast, right. He's quick in the hips, he's all these things. He knows football, man. Like this, and he's talked about that. When we talked with him, I guess, early in the season or maybe even fall camp, I don't want to say that he didn't know before, but he said he just feels so much more like Blake Baker year 2, like he just knows the game more. And maybe that was something hesitated that he didn't take it seriously because he was so athletically gifted that he didn't have to early on. But you notice as you play multiple years in the SEC, teams are going to scheme against you. They're going to take you out, which they did in terms of taking him out of the play. I think he's been phenomenal in the role he's been in. So, look, of course, everyone wants to see Harold Perkins in the year with 11.5 sacks and be the number 4 overall pick in the draft. That's not what LSU needs him to be right now. Now, I will preface that edge room's getting a little thin. In terms of what some of the injuries you had, right. Is that an option that they could go to? I will say that if Jamari Butler misses some significant time, you've got a situation to where you've got Dylan Carpenter who can step into the role. But if they feel like Perkins could be utilizing that pass rusher role more, I actually feel good about who you could stick at like star. Like you've got Deshaun Spears who can play there and has been good for you. Jordan Gilbert, I think, is a player that benefits from playing way closer to the line of scrimmage than playing that deep safety position. So it'll be interesting to see how they utilize them. But in terms of, and I always say this, and I'm not trying to bag on fans. Y'all got me bagging on Weston Davis, bagging on everybody tonight. Michael Cobble came up making a comment to me.
We know how to pull it out of you, dude. We know how to pull it out of you.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I try to take a week off from the show and, all that kind of stuff. No, but in all seriousness, like, I think that you have to understand, like, inside the building, they know what his role is. And when it comes time next April for meetings with coaches, when people call Blake Baker up and talk about this, and Jake Olson, who kind of coaches the safeties, and just as a whole, like, there's much more than just the box score they look at, right? And utilizing him in this, I think it's his best opportunity at the next level. Like, I don't think you can put him at inside linebacker or you can put him down to edge rusher immediately. Some things need to happen for that. So I think he's performed really well, and I think that he's been a guy that the stats don't pop off, man, when you watch the game. And you have to have that blend of box score analytics and watching the eye test. I think he's been really good for you. And maybe those numbers come, maybe they don't. But, man, the tape is really good from what he's been able to do.
Bryce, I know I don't want to keep you much longer. I have one more question for you, and then we can let you, go be with your beautiful family here in a little bit. Brian Kelly talked a lot about. You talked about injuries. You talked about the defensive front and how you're losing some of the edge rushers, especially the depth of the edge rushers. Talk about some of the guys that kind of got banged up. Obviously, Brian Kelly talked about those injuries. Bernard Gooden has his collarbone; it's not broken. Feels like they kind of dodged a lot of the significant injuries. Is that the feeling that a lot of these guys are going to be able to recover and be ready to go next weekend?
I hope so, because, and I'll say this, you've already lost Gabriel Relaford for the season out there on the edge. Jamari Butler, to me, has been a pleasant surprise. I don't know what I expected out of him when he came onto campus, because the numbers weren't crazy. I mean, he had some really good pressure rate, and he's been that for you. He's been a solid veteran player on the outside for you as these young guys grow. The big concern for me in terms of health-wise, wherever you look on the roster, is Bernard Gooden. You don't have a pass rusher from the interior other than him. I mean, Don McKinley is, I don't think he's taken quite the jump people wanted to see him take here in year two. Ahmad Bro is a solid rotational player. Jacobian Guillory is the physical veteran presence you need. But Bernard Gooden's a guy that gets after the quarterback and move in space. If you lose that does change some things for you, because it's like, okay, now we don't have that interior pass rush. They played a lot of Buddy Mathis, Walter Mathis, the true freshman, who's kind of been that fifth guy up for them. I like him, but man, placing the pressure on him with the same type of thing you've been putting on Gooden, that's not fair to him. He's averaged about 10 snaps over the past couple of weeks. So Gooden, to me, that makes me nervous a little bit in terms of his availability. Obviously, Aaron Anderson was on that list, flipping over to the offensive side of the football. Guys, I love Aaron Anderson. But Kyle Parker showed you, he mitigated a lot of my concern about not having Aaron Anderson for a full game. Yeah. I'm not saying Anderson's not a big part. I just think they're really good at that specific wide receiver spot. And then I guess you guys can remind me, the one that's going to be interesting is Paul Mabingo. Because Cohen Eccles, you sprung some runs. And so you really do have to figure out, is it individually who's better? Okay, I don't know. But collectively, you can't. I wouldn't touch it. You ran for 176. Don't get too cute with this. If something works, let's just keep doing it until it doesn't, and then we can make the change. Because I don't know. I think that your offensive line situation, that left guard spot's interesting. Carius Kern, DJ Chester, how do they factor in? But I guess, did I miss anybody on that injury report? By the way,
no. That was pretty much it. I mean, they talked about Braylon Moore with the stinger and
Braylon Moore. Yeah. Okay.
But
Moore's good. I'll say that about him. I thought he bounced back really well. He was really good in the Clemson game. I think I mentioned this last week. I expected him to be more healthy, and that would help out a lot. This, to me, was your best game in the interior offensive line that you've had all year. I thought that was really good in terms of the guard, center guard combination. I thought they looked really, really good in that factor. So, yeah, that was good.
Well, good. Hopefully they're all healthy, because obviously they're going to Nashville to play in a raucous house over there, and I don't even know what they call it. What do they call it?
I had to look this up. It's First Bank Stadium. That's what it's called.
Is it still under construction? Is it still under construction?
No, they finished. Clark took a picture. It was like this or something.
Okay, so
I
it's
don't know if it's finished. I just made that up.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
I mean, it's been under construction for 6 years, it feels like. But
it was when I went there in 2019.
Yeah, right. I guess, constantly making it better.
Jamar Chase coming out,
but
buddy. Different
LSU's
team
going
now.
there. Obviously, first time in the history of Vanderbilt that they are favorites against a ranked opponent. First time in the history of Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say about that.
Kind of a wild situation. So hopefully all these guys are ready to go, because you're going to get Vandy and they're going to do their
coming
best
off a bye week.
Do what they can. I'm not going to say anything, because I have a $10,000
bet.
I tend to mush some of this stuff, so I'm going to keep that to myself. And I'm just going to let it happen.
Big musher.
Yeah.
Big.
But, Bryce, we appreciate you, dude. We appreciate
Can I get two more things in? Real quick?
I thought you had to
All
go.
right.
Please.
I do, but we'll be fine.
Okay, perfect.
Two more things. One, Patrick Payton is making some money, but the stat sheet does not show it.
Yep.
I will say
Okay.
that he has been very, very good.
Love that.
In terms of that. I mean, so that's awesome. Also, I know it's not quite baseball season, but Electric Sunday, watching some of these guys out there.
Did you go out there?
Scrimmage. Dude, yeah, they're fun. It's going to be fun.
Nice.
You know, to me, I'll say this: Lockenmeyer, I think he's learning what it's like to pitch against, multiple of these guys.
right.
That was pretty shaky on Sunday, but William Schmidt, holy cow!
Oh, he's turned the corner, huh?
Okay, so he's got this pitch. I don't know, and you guys may know. It's obviously he's got his fastball, but he's sat between like 89 to 92, and I don't know what it was.
Was it a cutter?
Someone said it might be a power slider.
Probably a
I want
cutter.
to ask him, like when we get the opportunity to talk with him, but
Yeah.
he made some of the regulars look foolish on Sunday. Like it was, he looked
He
good.
got
So
himself a new pitch.
yeah, it was nasty. I
Big.
don't know what it was, but he was dotting it up, and then Jake Brown sent one over the wall and just a smooth swing. Chris
Yeah.
Stanfield, Derek Carriel looks so good in center. I love Chris Stanfield. Derek Carriel looks so smooth. He's so smooth in center field.
You're making
So,
our
yeah, that's, I guess,
you're making our
reaction.
listeners very happy right now. I do listen. The weather is actually great, and I do. It's now that they're scrimmaging, I do want to go pop in there. Lo, we did it a couple times last
We
year.
did. We learned
should-
a lot.
We should go do it again.
Yeah.
And Jake Brown also very svelte. Looks like he kind of bulked up a little bit and lost a little bit of the. He's got the unfortunate. I have this also, the built-in double chin, where it's like no matter what you do, and so that's why we grow the mustache out, not the
I mean,
beard.
you're never getting Jake Brown on the show. Any of
I could
Jared's and
probably-
Mikey's street cred just went out the window because you just called this man fat on a live show.
No, I said he's got a fat face. He knows he does. We've talked about it before.
Jesus.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, he looks
He's
fit.
not fat. I can promise you that.
No, he looked really. That's
No.
what I'm saying. He looked.
So you think
jacked.
Derek Carriel's fat because he gained 15 pounds of muscle?
We'll see what creatine are we taking?
I don't know. Jared's just in the background like, why? What are we doing here? Like, what is
I
this?
can't believe
But
this
it's
right
not.
now.
It's not. Look, that's
It was fun. Now I'll say this: Sunday scrimmage, they look good. I think a really solid group. Yeah, man. The transfers look fun too. So I think this can be a really fun team.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see him play in Biloxi and a couple of these other teams when they get to play somebody in another jersey.
correct. I want to go watch the transfers, and I want to watch the freshmen because it was a really good freshman class that came in too. So
Dude, shout out Jay Johnson. This 2027 class is gross.
yep.
It's gross.
Yep.
Absolutely gross. Sorry to keep y'all, but yeah.
Listen.
They
keeping
would see.
you.
They don't want to talk baseball, so
Yeah,
I'm
we're
glad you brought
keeping
it
you.
up.
I'm glad you brought
Yeah,
that up
no, it's
because
fine.
we haven't
I'm
been out
glad you
there.
brought it up. That allowed us an opportunity to talk chin structure and whatever.
Yeah.
We'll get it figured out.
Now I'm going to be self-conscious and go in the mirror and start going.
Get
Yeah,
one of those
little jaw
get
chewer
one of
things that
those-
they do, whatever they call it, chiseler,
Yeah,
whatever they
that'll
call
go
it.
ahead and clip that. Just me in the corner looking like a psychopath.
We'll give you a new,
Doing my best
we'll give
Dan
you a
Lanning
brand deal.
impersonation.
We'll get you a brand deal.
So,
Or we
all
could
right.
or we could just go full wet weeks and just start throwing up.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, just get skinny
you
that
are
way.
Georgia guys. So there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
All right, I appreciate you, fellas.
All right, dude.
Thanks
Have
so
a good
much.
night. See you next week.
See ya.
Later. I'm glad he threw some baseball conversation in there.
Yeah, gotta get
Um,
out there.
But listen, he actually brought up some good points, right? We talked about the injuries, and I'm glad he brought this up.
Actually,
No, he always does. He always does.
Finally,
He always does. But a lot of the conversation is very, it's the conversation everybody's having. But he did bring up an interesting point that I want to bring up. I just want to flip it to you because it was on the defensive side. He talks about how because Bernard Gooden's been great in the interior. He's an undersized defensive tackle, but he gets penetration better than anybody. Like he is in the backfield more than most, right? On the defensive front four. With him out, if he is out, how much does that affect? Because he talked about how difficult that's going to be to replace him. How much is that going to affect how the defense does what they're trying to do?
I mean, it's got to be a next man up type situation, but it's definitely going to have some kind of effect. And I think part of it, too, is going to be kind of this transition in coaches and coaching styles, right? Because where they used to like the big guys, and now they got Kyle Williams in there who's smaller guy himself and such a technician, so he's kind of transitioned to that. So, those guys I need, especially the young guys who are adjusting from either being way faster or way bigger than their high school opponents playing in the SEC, they have to learn quickly, how to use their hands, how to get off of blocks, and so on and so forth, use leverage and things like that. So it'll be a bit of a learning curve, and obviously there's always a drop off from 1s to 2s. But again, with the LSU's Blake Baker's blitz scheme, right? There's going to be stunts, there's going to be movement. That'll work in their favor as well. Yeah. But there's always got to be that discipline of you're responsible for this gap. Make sure you're in that gap. Don't get washed. Stuff like that. But I think the technique and the leverage and the hand placement is going to be big for certainly these younger guys.
As far as the linebackers, Jared brought up Harold Perkins, right? He's an easy guy to talk about because he's so super talented, and he's the last few years he's been all over the place and he got hurt. He's finally turned the corner. He's outside of being in a position that he probably feels comfortable in. What's been the biggest growth that you've seen from him as a linebacker?
He's that kind of like Brad was talking. He's not just a pass rusher,
yeah,
right? Because for 2 years ago, I was like, he's a pass rush specialist, right? He's Micah Parsons at a college level, right? So just kind of line up somewhere and let him go after quarterbacks and so on and so forth. But obviously, he showed the ability to spy and stalk, and the closing speed is outrageous, and that's huge. And then he's been in coverage a fair amount this year as well. Yeah. So he can run with the best of them, which is big. So he's got the versatility that certainly I think most people didn't think he had, a year or 2 years ago. So he's definitely proven. He's definitely stepped up in a lot of ways like that. I think, oddly, and y'all tell me, it seems like each game he has one of the responsibilities. He's not like doing all of them. He's either rushing a fair amount, or he's spying a fair amount, or he's in coverage a fair amount, where they're not really kind of utilize him at all of them per game, which is kind of a weird.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's the scheme of the team they're playing, right? Like LaNorris Sellers is going to be kind of a running guy. You played against Ole Miss. It felt like they
put him in conflict at times.
Yeah, it feels like Lane would kind of scheme him in different spots.
Yeah, because I feel like he was in coverage a fair amount versus Ole Miss,
exactly.
which was weird. I felt he should have been more of a spy mode type of situation. Right.
Yeah, because when they talked about,
it seems like as a defense they want to try to keep that thing as simple for him as possible, that which will allow him to play as fast as possible and kind of put some of the other stuff on the other guys moving around, which I get it and it makes sense for them. I want to ask you, because I don't want to get too far off of it, but I think kind of people forget some of the problems or some of the things that come about when you just line him up and tell him put his hand in the dirt or line him up as like a wide 9. As a undersized pass rusher and you become a known commodity, can you kind of speak about what problems it becomes and then how easy it becomes for defenses to find a way to scheme you in and out of whatever it is that they're trying to do to you?
Yeah, he definitely. One of his attributes that he was a stand-up guy, right? And being small and outside, like you said, a wide 9 coming off the edge, like it's hard, right? If they know where you're at, they can slide a line to you, they can chip you with a running back, and 1, you'll be way less effective, and 2, you'll be exhausted, so you'll be gassed. But the ability to have him stand up, move around, he can play pick games with the tackle, he can play pick games with the end, come across the edge, or things like that. So in the pass rush game, having the ability to stand up and come from different places is huge. For sure. But then also, if he's standing up and as well as he's been covering this year, he can drop back in coverage and definitely, undercut some throws and things like that. But yes, having him line up in one spot and come off the edge, play after play, it definitely greatly reduces effectiveness.
We talk about this all the time, right? Since the season started, because it's so easy to talk about. But the secondary just feels like every game you watch them and you're like, damn, they're. You didn't think they could get better, but they're getting better, and they're getting better, and they're getting better. I mean, they held LaNorris Sellers and them to, I think, 4.7 or 6 yards per attempt?
Yeah.
Or per completion or whatever it was. Minnesota Lane's got, I think he's given up like 15%, maybe less completion percentage on the season. You have safeties that are going out there and they're actually playing center field. I mean, Cooley, the way he tracked that football was like
beautiful, wasn't it? Beautiful.
You saw it the whole way. Okay, the guy's going to the top. They covered it perfectly. He's playing underneath, and the whole time he's seeing the ball, and he tracks it and he picks it off. It's just when you have a secondary like that, how much more does that free up the guys underneath them?
Oh, so much. Because, I mean, we talked about this before. The talent, the ability these guys have in defensive backfield is outrageous, which leads to sacks, too. They had 5, 6 sacks this game, 5 sacks this game. Well, some
Probably
of them
should
is
have
from
10.
Yeah, I know. They could
tackle LaNorris Sellers.
LaNorris Sellers is huge.
And that's not an indictment on the guys. It's just LaNorris Sellers is a big motherfucker.
But you have all these sacks too, and partly because he has to hold the ball. There's nobody that's open. There's no quick options and no easy options. Every throw is contested. And then clean, I don't think we had any PIs this game. I think we only had one game where they're really getting flagged. So they're playing. So they're covering well. They're covering clean. They're not laying anybody behind them. And like you said, now they can play a little more. They got great cornerbacks. So now you have a free safety sitting in the back that allows Cooley to run over and undercut balls and just play middle fields. Yeah,
it's fun. When you have a secondary like that, it makes it a lot of fun. Right? Like you want the linebackers and the defensive linemen, but like when you have a shutdown secondary, it just
it just opens everything else up because you can play the zone. They can pass things off. You can play a man and just lock her in and send the house if you want, and you have that confidence to do so.
Yeah.
I'm saying that probably plays a lot into, like you were talking about, when they're blitzing and run downs and kind of running themselves maybe out of some run fits sometimes. It's because of their ability to cover on the back end that Blake feels so comfortable with calling the amount and the exotic blitzes that he does. Am I right about that as well?
Yeah, I think so, for sure. Because, I mean, they're killing it in the backfield. Their safeties are amazing. The corners are amazing. And they got the speed to run everybody down. I think Delane could have ran down your boy on that 70-yard run. I think he could have if he would have clipped his heels. If he would have laid out, I think he would have clipped his heels. Yeah. So I'm not sure why he didn't do that. But, I mean, it gives you a little bit of a wiggle room, right? So you can be more aggressive. It gives you a little more risk tolerance and stuff like that because you got your guys in the back who can kind of clean things up for you.
And you can run so much man defense underneath it that you can have Cooley and whether it be Spears or Halsey be able to just
led the
run
team
around.
In tackles.
Yeah, they can do that because you know what you're doing on the outside, and that's why it still perplexes me that I saw a conversation that maybe LaNorris Sellers didn't know what down it was when it was fourth down because that can't be where you're looking whenever it's a 4th and 4 and it's Monster Delane 1-on-1. He hasn't given up a catch yet.
That was weird.
I don't know what we're looking at there because that's not the one.
You got to have it.
That's
play,
the one way I'm not
going.
One
person I'm going to. You target him twice all game, and that was the time that you tried.
You had Shane Bieber actively talking him up on the sidelines, like dapping him up, like. Obviously, Virginia Tech connection, but that's not where I want to go with the football at any point.
Ever.
I gotta have it.
And we're talking about all the good stuff, which we should, right? Because there's a lot of good. Now there were some things that were concerning still. Obviously, those all happened on the offensive side. The red zone offense was horrendous, like for LSU.
Can't happen.
I mean, 2 turnovers you had 2 times you were inside the 1 yard line. And you got 3 points. Yeah. One was a field goal. You lost 4 yards and had to kick the field goal. The other one was a fumble on first down, and you threw an interception inside the 5-yard line on a bad read by the quarterback. Those things can't happen against really good teams.
Right?
Like, I don't want to sit here and just be super positive, which I love to be, but you have to talk about issues that you see, right? Like, the offense did make progress. The offense did move the ball. The Nussmeier looked healthier. You ran the ball better. All of those things are true. But at the end of the day, when you got into the red zone, you got to the gotta-have-it situations, you didn't get it. You had 2 turnovers, and you had a situation where you went backwards and you had to kick a field goal, which ended up being the deciding. I mean, I say deciding, but it put you up 2 scores.
It wasn't the football game.
But it was when you get there against better teams, you have to score touchdowns.
For sure. I think and part of the problem, I think, is what LSU's, we're talking about the receivers so much, and they got so many speedy receivers, and a lot of their plays come from, 10 yards, 15-yard passes, so on and so forth. And Jared can talk about it. In the red zone, the field's a lot shorter, right? Everything is squished down. There's way more people in a short amount of space. So that will limit, and that's obviously has limited LSU's ability to do things with having so many people confined in such a small area.
And look, Trey'Dez, if they do the whole, spread them out in this man coverage and they end up having to take a couple guys, maybe that helps a little bit. But we've got to figure out a way to be able to get the short yardage conversions that deep into opponent's territory. Like you just can't rely on shotgun and throw it up and let them box out. Yeah, that helps, but you've got to be able to get 1 yard without.
Well, I'll say this, and I mentioned this off the show before. If you go back and get a chance to watch that game, I want you to watch what the 7th year or 5th year, whatever it is, 25-year-old running back that South Carolina did when it comes to after first contact or at first contact, what he did in those opportunities throughout the ball game against LSU. When you go and watch what LSU did in those situations, there was only like 2 of those runs that you either made that first man miss, and then when you made that first man miss, you made that defense really pay. I don't see a whole bunch of the backfield dishing out punishment, and I don't see him making a whole lot of people miss. So we can sit here a lot of the times and sit here and talk about what's happening up front and who is or who's not blocking and who needs to be in the game and who needs to be helping. I need to see more playmaking ability come out of the backfield. I think if you get more playmaking ability come out of the backfield, those situations when you're in that short red, when you're inside the 5, you're at the goal line, those become opportunities for you to make someone miss and or dish out the punishment and get those extra yards and get into the end zone. And I think if you can get a backfield that's going to start stepping up and doing those type of things, I think you become a lot better team in the red zone.
Yeah.
No doubt.
No doubt. And look, to your point, like, you can tell when you look at a running back and he gets the ball and how aggressive he is hitting the hole and running people over and you like having a different intent. And you haven't really seen that yet with the guys at LSU. Not saying they can't do it, but you're right. Like, you don't see that type of run.
They don't have that size and strength yet. We talked about that already. But, I mean, I think Durham did a better job. He wasn't great. And, like, to Jared's point, he didn't make anybody really pay for it, but he wasn't taken down by every first tackler. Like previously, they've been going down with the first hit that made them that made contact.
I think he had 70 yards after contact.
Yes,
he had 72 yards rushing and 70 yards after contact.
That's solid, and he was averaging I think 4 yards a carry, and then which is the stark difference from when we what was Florida game where he had the 50 yards in one play. Because if I can set you up and you can grab me 3 or 4 yards a carry, and I'm going from first and 10 to second and 7, second and 6. I mean, the play calling is that much more better for an offense coming from a second 6 versus a second and 10.
Correct. It finally makes it easier for you. Like, and that's I think the other part of that rushing aspect was what Nuss did. Like, it just
30 yards.
Finally tucked the ball and just go.
1 or 2 of those. It's all like people are asking.
After he played possum and limped off the field.
He did. Yeah,
can y'all get him some sliding lessons? Y'all get him. What does he do?
I mean, listen.
That's
I'll say
kind of
this.
tumbling. You just tumble down.
I would like to see him like.
Look, to fall forward.
He limps off, and it's like, damn. I mean, I thought
that was an act job, right? That was like I was like, why are you limping? Right? Nothing happened to your lower body. Like, why are you limping?
A little bit of a showman.
Yes,
it feels like, and then he comes back in. You think that he's out? He has to go in the tent. He comes back in, warming up, and then he runs for 25 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if that's how it's gonna be, at least he's running.
Yeah, for sure.
We hadn't seen it, and look. The first couple of runs were aggressive. Mm-hmm. Like, they were like, hey, CC, go. It wasn't like timid runs and, okay, I guess I have to run now. It was, all right, I'm going to take off and run, that was very encouraging to see, too.
He's elite in the open field. I've never seen that. There's only 11 people on the field that are trying to tackle. He's looking for everyone. He's looking for mom in the stands.
He's looking behind.
I just hear footsteps everywhere.
I don't care.
No, you're moving. You got past all that. That's why you ran. There's somebody there.
Or just get to the first down, know where the marker's and fall down at that point. Because he was looking everywhere.
I don't care how it looks. I'm just glad he did it.
Yeah, absolutely.
He made himself fall.
Absolutely.
That's okay.
I mean, he's been an athlete a while. I'm sure he's run full speed before. Just keep eyes ahead. You got to look where you're going, or else you know where you're going to get.
That's what they say.
Yeah, or look at the jumbo shot.
Those guys don't get hit much, man. So when he's finally in, full contact, he's like, "Hey, yo!"
He's like, "Hold up, yeah."
I'm not letting you get me.
It's weird when you got a lot of green grass and not a lot of big men in front of you. Like, he's used to like.
It's suspicious.
Yeah, he's just like.
Something's going on. Something's going on here.
Like, where is everybody? I'm not supposed to be out here by myself.
It does.
Like, where are my friends?
Yeah, if you had somebody follow him up, he would get rid of that thing so fast. If he could get 8 yards and then find a running back behind him, he's like, here, be like the Baltimore Ravens.
Just Travis Kelce randomly pitching the ball.
Yeah.
Distributor.
Yeah,
he wants to distribute it. He's looking to drop it off.
But look, that was another positive, is him. We actually saw him run. It wasn't all positive, but if you had to look at it and you're watching it with a open mind and not just wanting to be super negative, you have to be encouraged by what you saw, especially going into this weekend against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's good. Their defense is better than they were last year. I still don't understand why LSU is an underdog there. Like, I don't see it, but I actually like that. I like that. If
Why would they
that's-
not be? Vanderbilt's good.
I
And it's at home.
understand, but
I mean,
11:45.
11
And they're coming off a bye week.
11 a.m.
But they've been.
I mean, they beat Alabama at home last year.
You're
Yeah,
right.
they're good. You have to
Beat
get
Alabama
Vanderbilt.
I know they're good. I know that. I'm not saying they're not
surprised
good.
by it.
They're good, but I mean they're ranked. They're also ranked 17. What are they
17.
ranking? 17, right? Versus the top 10
Yeah.
opponent.
I'm
So
not,
I get
I'm
it.
not
You're
saying,
home.
I'm not discrediting how good they are. It's just, it's one of those things where it just felt like, look, maybe they're giving what's First Bank? What's the
First
name?
Bank.
First Bank
First
Field. Maybe they get usually you get 3 point home 3 points as the home field advantage. That's what they're
They
giving.
got 2.5.
So they're giving them.
I mean, that's where I'm at. It's LSU continues to be beaten up a little bit. Like you see another injury report where Bernard Gooden has a collarbone that's sore. You saw Nuss get beat up again. Your offensive line is not very good. And then you have the only thing that you really have is the defense, and Vanderbilt has played consistently good football, and they're coming off a bye. I can see 2.5 points easily.
Yeah, I think. I mean, Vanderbilt's good at scoring points, but there's so much just question marks on LSU. I mean, we're watching them intently every week, and we're still like, I
Especially
don't
offensively.
know.
correct,
And especially offensively, and you're taking that offense on a road against a much improved defense of what they've done recently. I'm not that surprised by it at all, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just weird historically to me because like that's a stat game.
Historically, it's like, wait, time out. What's going on here? There's
Yeah.
something wrong.
This is a stat game. It's like, okay,
I agree with you on that. Yeah.
what can I get done in the first
Yeah.
half before they take me out? And I'm watching the rest.
That's about to be a dog fight.
It's weird.
No, you're right. You're right. It's weird to see.
It is weird to
It's
see.
weird to see.
I mean,
But
there was
that's an interesting game too. It's gonna be interesting. We're gonna talk a lot about it throughout the course of the week because obviously Pavia. I think Pavia has the Pavia hype has kind of come down just a little bit because of some of the stuff that he's been doing, like his antics. You know what I mean? Like it was
Works
great
when you win.
It was great early on, and then you win, and then you continue the antics, and it doesn't really work out for you. It kind of lose that luster a little bit. I think he's good. I think that his strength. I mean, he's going into LSU's strength. I mean, like what he does, LSU handles pretty
When
well.
LSU has a good defense, is usually are not the quarterbacks that succeed. Like Johnny Manziel, if that's who.
Well, that's my point. Like,
yeah, that's his hero.
when you have a secondary that way, and you have guys that can get after you, you don't really have the ability to kind of improvise, and guys are gonna be wide open because you're able to have sticky coverage.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
that's what happened with Johnny. He was, never really prepared for a football game. He'll
Yeah.
be the first
But-
to tell you. And you come in and say, oh, we can guard Mike Evans, and it's like I don't know where to go with the foot. And then now I have two defensive ends that are all over me for
Right.
the 45, 60, 70 snaps I take, and it becomes very difficult to be that guy whenever you're really not. You're kind of limited athletically.
Yeah, and to Jared's point, like their defense is significantly better at Vandy. Like that's the one thing that Vandy never really had, to have the guys to be able to handle these offenses, and it seems like they kind of have that. Huh? Handle any. I mean,
Any offense.
the offenses in the SEC. But it feels like they have that now.
And I
What's the
think,
number that LSU has to score? I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was going to say I think that was their NIL strategy, right? At Vanderbilt,
Yep.
I think they gave a little bit of money, air quotes, to several guys, right, defensive guys that so they don't think they gave anybody $1 million or whatever.
Right,
It's like
right.
100,000 here, 80,000 there,
Yep.
getting some solid guys that can play together. It's the money ball. It's the money ball defense.
Yeah.
Find what works, and let's go pay that guy. What do I think the
And you
number?
gotta also remember too, like LSU's gonna travel there, and you're going to play that game, and it's an 11 a.m. game. Like
Yep.
that in itself is a trap
Yeah.
game. It's not something that they're used to doing. You got to do it usually once or twice a year, but to do it on the road against a very formidable opponent, like that's a big hurdle to jump as well. So that's gonna be something to watch, I believe, in this game as well.
Which I kind of
For
like
sure.
that they're underdogs, right? Because it makes it a little bit easier to go out there and say, hey, you're going on the road to 11 a.m. and they're expecting you to lose.
Yeah.
So, you either go and you follow with that narrative, or you go and you create something different and you do what we think you're supposed to do and win the game. So, like I said, we have the rest of the week. Dan Bijan, 81-yard touchdown run.
That was electric.
Yeah,
They
he's
shouldn't.
electric.
I mean, nobody should wear that number in Atlanta, but it's okay.
He's electric. I mean, if someone's gonna wear it,
Yeah, it's like
this is
LSU.
probably the other guy that could wear 7 and be fine with it.
Those uniforms are awesome.
But we got a lot more of the conversation about that game. But it's going to be fun. It'll be interesting. 11 a.m. kind of interesting. time for us. We don't see a lot of those 11 a.m. games.
No.
They've been successful with them recently, though. LSU has been successful with them recently.
And Brian Kelly gets them up.
He does?
Yeah, I think he said they're changing this because they're off this week, right? School-wise. So they're So I think he changed his schedule Wednesday and Thursday. So they got like 11 a.m. practices and stuff. So that works out.
There you go.
Yeah, and then he said for the fan base to, 6 a.m. He's a Bloody Mary guy.
Well, see, I'm not a Bloody Mary
Tomato
guy.
juice is disgusting.
I agree.
I'm a mimosa guy. Don't make fun of me. But.
Screwdriver.
I like
brass tacks
orange,
here.
but too much orange juice is like too much. It's like it just.
Yeah, listen. This is a trick you have to. The spicier you can make the Bloody Mary, the better it is.
That's my brother. My brother, he's with you on that one. And then he can put all the stuff in it. He wants all the bacon and sausage and whatever foolishness you can find in it.
Yeah, there was some bacon in there too as well. Yeah. I don't like the tomato-y feeling like Bloody Mary.
I haven't had one in forever. Maybe I'm overdue to try it.
No, I hate. I will drink any alcoholic beverage you put in front of me. I do not job with the Bloody Mary.
Give me the mimosa. I'll take a screwdriver. It's just too much.
Well, yeah, you want the more alcohol you can get in there, the better.
I like the mimosa.
You just cut it with the
Mimosa's good because
you gotta be careful with champagne.
Yeah, but you can change up the juice, all the stuff, and it's good.
A little coffee.
It's hard to find a good Bloody Mary. I'll say that.
Coffee.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of them either, but I do like a really good one though.
I mean, let's just be real. Let's just go straight.
Nashville
vodka.
That'd be a great place to go for 11 a.m. game, though.
I've done it. We did it for Robert Karam's bachelor party.
That's right.
And that was the Jamar Chase coming out party. I think he had over 200 yards receiving, and Joe Burrow got hit late and said, "Now I'm putting 5 on you."
Did you go out Friday night and then?
Yes.
That's tough.
Where'd you go out at? Do you remember?
Different locations. We went down. We did the tourist thing. We went to
Broadway.
Yeah, the Broadway. That's the tourist thing. And then we went to Santa's, the karaoke bar, who just recently passed away. Shout out Santa.
Santa died?
Santa's dead.
Nobody's getting toys.
No toys. But he ran a karaoke bar with no cursing out of his house.
What?
So you're getting fridge, the beer was coming from his refrigerator.
What?
Yeah, it was awesome. But if you cursed in line, he's like, "Hey, that's strike 2. We don't cuss around here. This is my home. You have to respect it." Like, you live here. But hey, A1 establishment. Place was great.
Wow, how'd y'all find that?
Somebody told us
Lord,
about it.
what do you mean?
That's a great point.
Yeah. Also, bottomless strip clubs. If you're into that sort of thing, you got to go see it once. Go into a museum.
You have
No, I'm not bottomless. They
There's
are.
no bottom, just tops, no bottom.
No,
I
just
think you
fully
mean full
nude.
nude.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
but bottomless is a weird way to say it. Yeah, not even saying it. Yeah.
Bottomless strip clubs, so fully nude strip clubs. Bottomless. Yeah, just bottomless.
It's a fetish thing.
They have mimosas and bottomless, girl.
Bottomless mimosas and bottomless strip clubs. Okay.
Yeah. Whole roll of quarters.
There you go. But yeah, Nashville's a great time.
It is. So the football was ancillary. Now it feels like if I were to go this year, very much more important.
Very much more important. And, I think it'll be a good one.
And you have the whole day ahead of you to go do all of that.
That's it.
Again, go to Santa's.
Continue to celebrate.
That's right.
Continue to celebrate.
Kid Rock has a bar there.
All those country singers, they all have bars. Except Morgan Wallen. Does he have a bar?
No, I don't think he should. Yeah.
Yeah.
He threw the chair. Does he got to throw the chair off?
He's got. Yeah. I don't think he needs to stay off the liquor. I think he needs to not be having mimosas and let's get him on beer, I guess.
Let's pivot.
You should have the bottomless ones.
Yeah.
Let's pivot the conversation.
Marketing.
A touch, right? Obviously, we have a lot more of LSU conversations throughout the week, but we talked about how wacky the college football season was. I think the big conversation that I think is trickling down into Baton Rouge a little bit right now is Penn State ponied up the money, and they said, we're done with seeing James Franklin be good, but not get us over the hump. And then this year he's had 2 very bad losses in a row, and then they fire him midseason. $51 million buyout or $52 million buyout is what he has.
Had.
I mean, that's what he's getting right now. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
I don't know what the strategy in general is for firing a coach midseason. I get all right, this isn't working. We got to move on. And I get all that stuff. I know the buyout money, they always find the buyout money, so that's not even a thing. But so what about the kids that are still there? We give up. And I guess now they can transfer out too.
Right, but like they can't leave until after the season, right?
I thought they could transfer. If a coach left, they can leave immediately.
But not mid-season, right?
They can't join another team.
Yeah,
but
right.
They can immediately start looking for other opportunities.
But
that would be wild if you could just hop on another.
I thought when the coaches got fired,
you might be right.
But anyway, either way, like, what is the strategy? Like, it's just like we're scrapping the season. We give up, like, screw you guys and your hard work. Because what is your team going to do from that point? I mean, some people will rally. It kind of, I guess, it depends on the locker room, right? Some people will rally. It's like, you know what, we're in this for each other. Let's make it happen, so on and so forth. And then some people are just going to give up and be like, you know what, I need to find my next steps.
I'm with you. I think the people who suffer the most from that, like, people who suffer most from divorces are the kids, right? Mm. People who suffer most from that are the players and the guys who are like the assistant coaches, because like they know they're going to be gone.
Yeah.
Right? They're not going to be there, so you get the interim tag. I think the reason why teams do that or schools do that is because they don't want the chance of them just somehow going out and winning the rest of their games. If they want him gone, oh, now you went 9-3, even though you have 2 really bad losses. How do we fire you now? Which is also not great because you go 9-3 and you kind of right the ship later on in the season.
Right.
You know,
I think there was a growing
salvage. I think they wanted him out.
Yeah, I think it was becoming like kind of a Les Miles.
Kind of like a Les Miles. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, because he's got a history of not being quite good enough, like you said.
Can't win the big one.
10-2. That's his move.
And that was LSU for a long time. Like you'd win 9-10 games, and you would feel. Everybody else in the country is like, I would kill for a 10-win season. You're like, not good enough.
Yeah.
Because you're getting the players.
You're losing to the same teams.
And Penn State put in a ton of money over the offseason to be able to build this roster. Like you talk about Vanderbilt Moneyball, they did the opposite.
Yeah.
Like they went New York Yankees. We're bringing back all of our guys, bring back the quarterback, bring back the
2 running backs.
Both of them.
I'll say this, man. I do believe this. I think I saw a stat where it was 4-21 against top 25 teams while he's been there. Look, I think it's fair to say this. Although I'm with you in terms of what's the angle at firing him this early in the year, where there's so much of the season left, I do think it's really hard to be paying someone $7.5 million a year, and/or like in LSU's case, $10 million a year, and you not being one of those every year at least playoff type of teams, every year at least short list type of teams that we're talking about at that spot. Like, I think it's really, really hard. And for where it is, Penn State hasn't been that. Now, have they been a 9-10 win type of team? Yeah, they've been in that spot, but they haven't really been looked at serious in that regard. And like I said, going 4-21 against top 25 teams, like, if I just told you that, you'd be like, ooh, who's he coaching for? Because if he's coaching at one of these supposedly top programs in the country, something ain't going right. Something needs to change, obviously, and I think that's kind of where they got to.
Yeah,
at this point.
And look, if he continued to go and let me look, was it the Oregon game they played this year that was really close and they should have won that game? And it was
at home. Yeah,
that game broke them because then they go to UCLA and they lose against an 0-4 UCLA team, and then they go back home and they lose to Northwestern.
Yeah,
like. You can lose that Oregon game and go ahead and you go take care of business like you're supposed to, and then get your way back up there and be in the playoffs like he did last year. But you lose those big games, that's one thing. But then the way they responded this year, I think that was just like, damn, he lost to everybody. Like,
yeah, I mean, I would love to know what was going on inside too, because like you said, when you're losing multiple games where you're 20+ point favorites, something's not going right inside the building.
Right.
They're just something's got to be going wrong, and I think that was a real telling in terms of the fan base. If you saw the video, I think there was a real telling video when you watched him leave the field and how he let his family go in front of him because he didn't even want them to hear the shit that they were going to say. Like that's a real telling feel too, as well as and how he's being recepted at this point in his tenure there as well.
Yeah, no doubt.
How much do y'all think? And one, I'm a huge advocate of NIL, get your money, I'm all about it. However, I mean, part of it when we were playing, is the drive to get to the next level so you can secure your family's legacy and their financial future and so on and so forth. Whereas now, a lot of these kids are doing that now. So now that I already got the bag, there's people that's like, I don't have that drive, that hunger quite as much as anymore.
Well, I think that's what you're worried about with LSU, right? Because you went and kind of did the same thing where you bring in 18 transfer portal players that you clearly were one of the more competitive teams in the market. If things start to go sideways, I already paid them. There's nothing you could really do about it. And then Are they going to play? Where are they going to go? Are they start getting ready for the draft? You've seen this happen at LSU with Jamar Chase, Terrace Marshall. Like, yeah, that was before NIL. They're like, we got to get ready for the league. Like, this shit is ass.
No doubt.
So I'm leaving.
And to your point, like, you see it in the professional baseball, professional football. You see these guys, like, they're really good and they get paid and they get a little complacent. And this is professionals. These are guys who are in the NFL or in Major League Baseball. College, you're giving these to 17, 18-year-old kids who've never had
any money.
That money in their life. And now you're expecting them to be motivated to continue to go and get to the next level, which they can say in their mind that they are. But it takes a special person at that age to have that much money and say, damn, my goal is to get to the NFL, but look how much money I'm making right now, and not slip up mentally just a little bit.
Right.
You know, and
I think the biggest hurdle that there is with the portal for the most part is the window of time that you have to figure out, is this person chasing the check or is this person chasing something real? I think that makes it extremely hard to be able to fill out your team with the right type of people who's not just going to tuck tail and run at the first sign of trouble. Like, I think that's the biggest problem. And if you're not a great judge of character, or you don't have a bunch of people on your staff who are great judges of character, that can easily be bad decisions one after another in terms of using the portal to kind of fill out the rest of your squad.
Correct. And look, I like it. I think you should get paid. I agree with you. We've talked about this a lot. My only issue with NIL is, two issues. One, you shouldn't be able to transfer as many times as you want. It should be a one-time transfer. You can't be a free agent every year. That's not fair to anybody. You know what I mean? Like, they argue, coaches can leave whenever they want. Sure, whatever. They got this big buyout. They got this protection. The school's got the protection. There's no protection from anybody for you. Like, you can leave anytime you want.
There is coming. There's supposedly NIL insurance that's closer than you think it is.
Yeah, I'm sure they had to figure something out, right? Because you shouldn't become a free agent every single year. One, two. Paying a high school kid the amount of money they're trying to pay them without them ever stepping foot on campus, like, you haven't done anything to get the money. You're just a top recruit, which is great. You've been great. You earned that in high school. But you have to have some sort of – you have to earn it in the college level. And I know that's not how it's structured, and I know that's the way it is, and that's the way you have to live in it right now. But if I have my issue, that is my issue. Part of my issue with NIL is – I have no problem with these guys getting paid, but you have to show me that you can do it on the field before I can pay you, right? Like, you know, and if you are paying them out of high school, there should be, you know, it's hard to give a guy $14 million coming out of high school, which is the 31st overall pick in the NFL draft, and he had to play college football.
Right.
But look, there's a lot of issues with it, but I do believe they should get paid. If you go out there and you deserve it and you play well and you're making the school money, you deserve to get paid. Yeah, no doubt.
It's wild. I blame largely the NCAA because they fought it so long. I mean, it was coming. Obviously, that force was coming. I think there was, California and maybe Nevada, there was another state where it was legal to make money before the NCAA said it was legal to make money. So, I mean, at that point, you can't say, well, UCLA can get paid, but not LSU. So they just kind of say, okay, it's cool for everybody.
And they just gave up.
And then now the floodgates are open. There's no rules. There's no guardrails. There's nothing. Everybody's just paying everybody, and it was crazy.
Nothing. I mean,
I think, man, like, you make that point too. I think it was crazy. While they saw what was going on and the money that was either the potential money that players could have been making and or the things that was happening, that they were having to kind of police behind the scenes as well. I think when they saw all of these things going on, the big mistake they made was trying to just kick the can as opposed to saying, hey, we need to figure out a way on the other side of this thing because it's coming. Because when it came, what they basically just did is said, hey, we don't want anything to do with it. We'll throw this out and kind of just let the toothpaste out. And now it became something way bigger than what it probably could have ever or probably would have ever been had you figured out a way to guardrail it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No doubt. And so, look, they're working on it, but it's hard to put that back. It's hard to put the genie back in the bottle.
They also need to get rid of these. Like, again, genie hard to get a genie back in the bottle. But these 10-year guaranteed contracts they're giving these coaches.
No doubt. That's the
crazy.
other issue.
It's like, why are we doing this?
That's the other
It's
issue.
wild.
Well, that's how you have to.
It's like, yeah, you try to attract these top-tier coaches, and then who's ran out there 10 years yet? Like, no, has anybody made it?
It's like a baseball contract.
Outside of Saban and Kirby Smart. Like
But I think
Kirby's
Saban's
on
was
10
like,
years.
he had like a 6 or 7 year contract even.
Yeah,
you
they
know?
just kept pushing it.
And he just pushed it, yeah.
Well, Saban had a deal where any time that somebody signed a contract more lucrative than
He's
his,
had to
he
be the
automatically
most.
got kicked in to
Yeah.
be the highest paid coach in college football.
When if anyone
He
deserved
earned
it,
it.
was,
Yeah, he earned it.
yeah,
Yeah.
he earned that. You know. Yeah, I mean that's the other thing, right? Like $50 million. Now you're holding these schools hostage. If you decide, hey, this is my last stop, and I don't want to, I've just kind of given up, and I'm not going to go recruit as hard, you know. And like, shame on you if that's the case, right? Like if a school didn't vet you and know that you were going to just, you know, you weren't that guy, then they shouldn't give you $100 million. I don't think that's really ever the case. But look, some things sometimes it sours.
Yeah.
And you can't right the ship, but now you're tied to that school because they can't pay $50 million.
'Cause, yeah, for sure.
You know, yeah, it's a crazy deal.
And then back to what I was saying earlier, according to SI.com, effective immediately, football players can now get a 15-day portal window that begins 5 days after a school hires or publicly announces the next head coach.
Oh, so they can transfer. They just can't play for that team that year. They can just transfer to that school, right?
Yeah, well,
So-
they can't. The portal doesn't open up until they hire another
After they
coach.
announce a new coach.
So it's
Right,
not once
right.
your coach gets
Oh,
let
you have
go.
to hire the coach,
They have to hire the coach.
and then once they
Smart.
hire him, you can
Yeah.
transfer.
What says announces the next head coach, but I wonder if you just promote like a interim, coordinator up. Does that count? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
I guess
I'm not
that
reading the
would-
article.
matter.
I
I'm
guess.
not reading the article.
I guess interim. If there was interim title, that doesn't count as the head coach.
Yeah, I'm not sure how
'cause
that
you have to
plays
give
out.
them the head coaching. Yeah.
They have an interim. They have announced an interim. It's a guy that was on staff with Franklin for the last however many years. Been there.
Who do they
12
play
years.
next week?
I think it's like 10 years he's been there for sure, yeah.
Who do they play next week?
I don't know. You think you're going interim bet?
Yep.
They have Iowa at Iowa.
Interim bet of the week.
I'm not doing that.
Interim
Iowa's
coach
good.
bet of the week. Well, and you have Aller out,
Yeah.
so never mind.
Well, it's not like he did anything.
Who was the interim last week that you thought about betting?
Who was it? I think they won.
I will say this: if you're looking for an upset, I don't know what that Arkansas A&M line is, but
It might have been.
Petrino's record against A&M when he was a head coach, he's undefeated. A&M cannot beat Petrino. When he was at Arkansas, he's back there.
How wild is it that he's back there?
Time heals all wounds.
So one wildest thing I've ever, and like it's been not talked about either. It's
Man,
crazy.
just don't worry about it.
Yeah, just did that.
So we don't know,
happened.
It
we don't know
just
what you're
never
talking
happened.
about. We don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I left. I came back. I'm back. Which
I'm trying to-
I've changed. Same thing with Hugh Freeze. Like, how was he staying? He's
Hugh
coaching
Freeze is going to get fired this year. You think? No.
I mean,
don't think-
Auburn just has to stop doing that. Like, at some point, you have to stick. To
I mean,
somebody.
they're
You gotta
close,
pick
but
somebody.
in Auburn has been close for 2 years. They've been close in a lot of games.
Yeah,
They
they
just-
can't get across the
They
finish
can't
line.
figure it out. What is that? Who are they playing? I said they're playing A&M. Let's see. Oh, Georgia Ole Miss next week. 7.5. A&M's a 7.5 point favorite on the road against Arkansas. Telling you.
There's your
I'm telling you.
teasing the parlay.
I'm telling you. Buy that up to 10 points. 10.5. 10
Tease it.
points. 10.5.
Yeah, I'm telling you, buy
Don't
more
give Lloyd
points.
the opportunity to tease it up. You know
No,
he
but
will.
I really do. I mean, that if there was one that you look at like, oh, maybe.
Yeah, two-team teaser LSU.
And Arkansas has been all over. I mean, they score a bunch of points. Petrino,
Yeah,
we'll see. We're not going to get into the betting conversation yet. I've been getting my ass kicked.
well, yeah, we haven't won a parlay yet this year.
We've taken a 2-week break.
Yeah, good. Need to
We
recalibrate.
had to
Tighten it
recalibrate.
up. Y'all need to self-scout.
Yeah.
I mean, last week was better for me. I didn't
Bye
lose
week.
all the money. I was even.
Betting bye week.
yeah.
I was even.
The
Last
bet
week.
is if you're not in the stadium, LSU second half unders.
If you're not in the stadium?
Yeah, because I can't get any service. I've been
Oh,
trying to do it.
yeah,
They've
yeah,
given
yeah.
up like maybe 13 points all year in the
Yeah.
second half.
Yeah.
Wait, were you in the stadium this week? What What was the crowd like? Because that's
not great.
Something happened. I don't know. I was looking at something like mid fourth quarter, 10-point game, and the crowd, like the stadium, like the background was empty. I was like, what is happening?
After halftime, I'll say this: I didn't leave until like
when everybody else left.
No. I did leave early. I left probably with like 6 minutes left when they got to 10 points. I left because I was trying to beat traffic. But
you were in the traffic.
I was not. I figured out a hack.
Yeah, go north.
You just pay the park in the back of like the side of walk-offs, not the grass lot.
Okay.
And you just take a right on the Burbank because I go towards University Club, which is down Nicholson.
Yeah.
So you take a right on the Burbank, you get no traffic. You just go all the way down. I go all the way down Burbank until I get to Blue Line Extension. I'm Gucci. It was great.
Everybody's gonna follow Mikie now.
It was great.
There you go.
But after halftime, the student section was like half gone.
Yeah.
They didn't wait till after. They left right out of halftime.
Well, 6:45 kick.
Yeah,
a little late. They want to get to the bar.
Student section, you
should want to.
That's where the energy comes from.
But they're drinking there.
Yeah, they can't get booze in there.
The students can't get booze in there?
Really?
They're strict. Well, I mean, you know this. The student section's hard.
But they sell alcohol in there now. You can, if you're old enough, you can get it.
Well, duh. But you can only buy 2 at a time. So I mean, you have to do the math on this. There's only so many 21-year-olds for every 18-year-old or 19-year-old. So it's a little bit more difficult.
Fair.
Oh,
you think they're doing that math?
I think that there's only so many good fake IDs. We're like, Jesus, I've seen you 20 times. I mean, it's not the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah, but here's the deal: they used to not sell alcohol, and the student section was always there.
I don't think there's alcohol. I don't even know if there's alcohol on that side. You might have to do a little bit of walking. But
my point is, they used to not sell it, and the student section was still staying. Yeah. I think that they didn't respect the South Carolina team. And
a lot of it.
But it was still a game, though.
It was the one possession game in the fourth quarter. You don't leave that early.
Yeah, that's wild.
But to me, it feels like because of the way the game started, the way you looked offensively, and you were so anemic, it became like I almost.
Brian Kelly mentioned in his press conference.
Yeah, but they're almost for like I'm. What's the word I'm looking for? Like taking a stand against it because I don't want to be a part of this. I'm putting my foot down on what I see with LSU. Protesting. Yes, they were protesting LSU's offense.
Everybody likes to protest now.
Because Mikie said he was laughing, and it was laugh worthy because you know the result now. But the first drive of LSU, they get the ball, go 3 plays in a minute and 20 seconds.
I was not laughing at the first drive. I was laughing at the first play because everybody said, "Oh, it's going under center. We got to go under center more." They go under center first play, 3-yard loss with the running back, and I just started laughing. Not because it was a wrong thing to do. It's just
nothing could go right.
Now everybody's like, "Oh, why'd you go under center?" Like, what do you want them to do? Like, they're trying. They're trying.
They're trying. Their offensive line looked better, I think.
They did.
I think they got more push off the ball, which led to better things in the run game. I said Durham bounced off a couple first tacklers. So they definitely showed some promise there.
No doubt. It was a lot to build off of.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, if we left that game, and that's how we're going to end it before we go into Wednesday. If you left that game thinking, like, damn, this is the same shit we've seen for 5 weeks, I'd be concerned. Like, seriously concerned. Moving forward, thinking like this is who we are. There's no chance of us getting any better.
I feel like a lot of people that left in the fourth quarter did leave that game thinking that way. That's how I feel. But I'm agreeing with y'all in terms of seeing health from Nuss, seeing him have the ability and want and desire, if you will, to kind of rip it and throw it downfield. Seeing him take off and run the rock, doing that multiple times. That alone says to me, okay, this thing's about to open up, because once people start seeing that on the other side of it, you have to start respecting it, right? Yeah. And he's got the kind of talent and he's got the kind of weapons that can, come through in those situations. So I liked what I saw. Would I've loved to see the conversion of it a little bit more? Of course,
100%.
Obviously. But you have these things kind of work in steps. They kind of progress their way to where they're going, and I think they're headed in the right direction.
And the people that left, the people that are going to honestly watch that game and say, "Oh, I don't see any progress," are the same people who just don't really understand.
Kind of casual, fair weather.
They got to see them throw for 400 yards a game and run for 200 and beat everybody by 45 points. Like, it's just not realistic, especially in this day and age of college football. But it's the first game all year against an FBS team that they had over 400 yards of offense. They had 6 yards. They averaged 6 yards on the carry on the ground, and Nuss out minus 2 bad mistakes that Nuss made. He was very efficient.
Yeah. Do we think so? Oblique injury, right? And that's fully healed. That's what we're going with.
That's what it feels like. Lloyd says he has to see it 2 days in
Two
games
times.
in a row.
I need to see 2 games in a row.
So-
That's off a bye week.
Agreed. But then here's my deal: is that one, any kind of injury where there's going to be a lot more use, he's still going to have to twist and rotate a whole lot for the rest of the season. Like, you don't get healthier as the season goes on. It only gets more wear, more impact. So then, is this the best he's going to be for the rest of the season? If that was the injury that we're dealing with,
Do I think it's the best he's going to be?
What you saw is probably the healthiest he'll be until the other bye week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
He got knocked around.
He did. I don't think it's going to get worse. Like I think the oblique is healthy enough to where I don't think it's going to get worse. Because the oblique.
Yeah, dealing with the oblique the way I did, and obviously Mikey, you did too. Like, you get to a certain point where you still feel it, if you will, like when you're healthy, but you're kind of back to full-fledged action. Like there's a certain point in the rehab process where it's you think you're good, you're not good, right? But then you finally get to the point where you actually are good. Now you still feel it, but it's not actually getting worse with the movements and the things that you're doing. You're not getting your breath taken away from you by some of these things that you do. It's just you get to a point where you get over the hump.
Yep, correct. I think he's at that point now, right? Where he trusts his ability to make the throws. He got hit a lot last week, and he got back up and made some throws. So yeah, I do think you're going to see him getting healthier, maybe, but I think this is like what you saw is what you're going to see for the rest of the year. I think that.
All right.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
you can win a lot of games like that.
Absolutely.
I mean, he made every throw you needed him to make. You just can't put the ball in harm's way, especially when you're about to score.
But at this point, that's who he is.
He's Brett
No
Favre.
doubt.
He is.
Look, I can.
I'll live with it. I would
can
rather
live with
see
it.
him do that than what I saw the first 4 weeks.
100%. And
But what was harm's way in this game too?
The overthrow.
the overthrow over the middle was probably that was a
Right. Okay.
the
I'm
one in
glad-
the end zone was a bad read, but then
Yeah.
the one in harm's way was just him backfooting it and throwing it over the middle.
Okay,
And
the
the
reason
throw
why
to
I
Caden
bring that
Durham.
up, the reason why I bring that up is because I think there's some things that people need to understand. That's also the same drop where you had the long.
No,
drop by
I
him.
get
You
that.
did drop. Okay, I know. I'm not saying you don't. I'm just bringing this up. Is we sit here and say he's a gunslinger, he's going to put the ball in harm's way. But if you're making plays as well, you may never get to some of those plays. So if you don't have the long drop, if you don't have the drop on the sideline by Xavier Thomas, those two drops are all on the same drive. If those don't happen, we never get to the spot where he has to try to make that play on a 3rd and long.
Yeah, right.
Things like that also kind of happen where if you're making plays, you're staying ahead of the sticks, and you have guys that are making you right, you sometimes never get to those. And I think some of that needs to happen more as well for you to kind of progress and go forward.
Yeah, correct. 100%. You got to make the plays on the plays that are presented to you. Like that's just the way it needs to be. And so you saw more plays made. You saw some plays left on the table, and I think the offense, by all accounts, was better, and that they still have a lot more progress to be made. But they have a lot more. It gives me a lot more encouraging going into this weekend than it was after the Ole Miss weekend. That's
Absolutely.
for sure. Ole Miss weekend was like, holy shit, we don't know what's going to happen. This going into Vanderbilt was like, okay, that was good, but let's just do that. Let's just not fumble, and let's just score and when you get inside the 5-yard line 3 times.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. All right, let's get to the Seggies. Mistake of the day. Lloyd?
Mistake of the day. We have a former LSU high recruit, obviously from Michigan. They go down to USC, at USC, and what Cody Worsham called most electric atmosphere he's seen in his 10 games he's been at USC.
I thought you said ever. I was like, come on, Cody.
Since he's been there.
You're here at LSU. You know
And
better
so,
than
obviously, Bryce Underwood was seen smiling on the sidelines, which leads Sherrod Moore, who I think is a fraud of a head coach, to go to the podium. And this is what his mentality is going into the week after a loss.
Is there a bigger message from you to this team going into the back half of this season?
I mean, I think the message is pretty simple. Like, the guys understand what happened. They understand it's a loss, and nobody's hurt more for a loss than the players and us, as coaches. So those guys they've been in here, they've been grinding, trying to get better. They're, trying to fix all the problems and make sure it doesn't happen again. So the message really is simple. We got to go back to work. That's the reason I got the blue collar jacket on today. We got to go back to work right now. There's no pouting. There's no.
doesn't really be a ton of confidence.
No, I'm just when you got to pull out gimmicks at this point. The blue collar.
Is that his first? When did he get back out of his suspension?
I thought I was about to say I thought he was suspended. But
This was his second game back. But I don't know where Michigan is going to go after they don't play very inspired football. And then you have the Bryce Underwood saga who continues. He gets thrown under the bus because of how much it's very well documented how much they're paying him. And your coach is going to go, well, I got my blue-collar mentality. It's like, well, y'all aren't very blue-collar if you're going to pay a quarterback $10 million to play for a year.
right.
Yeah, I mean, look, we talked about that. Like, I think he's talented. I think as a true freshman, he's doing not terrible, but they just don't have the pieces around him. When you invest that much into one position, it's hard to get all the other pieces. And you have a first-time head coach that's coming after another head coach that won a national championship. It's just...
And you see what they're doing in I was about to say San Diego and Los Angeles. Like, it was Harbaugh was a flash in the pan. Like, that was a cultural creator.
Yeah. Everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like, when it's all said and done, you're going to look at his career and you're like, damn, this is one of the greatest coaches of all time.
Yeah.
Right? Because he was in San Francisco. He won a lot in San Francisco. Got to a Super Bowl in San Francisco.
And loses to his brother.
Loses to his brother in the Super Bowl. Goes to
You
college.
forgot he was at Stanford before
Oh,
that.
yeah, he was at Stanford before that.
Beat
Andrew
USC.
Luck, beat USC, doing all the stuff he was doing that. Then goes to NFL, does the same stuff there. Then he says, all right, I'm going to go back to my alma mater, and I'm going to win. They haven't won in a long time over there, and I'm going to go win a national championship. And now I'm going to go back to NFL with a team that is known for choking and known for not having a hard-nosed culture and identity. I'm going to go create it, and he's done it. It's just...
He can connect with people.
Yeah,
he finds
no
a way
doubt.
to get people to buy in. It's
No
going to do
doubt.
it. It's going to take, and they do it.
No doubt. All right, curtain call. Lloyd, you got one of those?
Speaking of buy-in, I don't know if you saw this over the weekend, but Baker Mayfield down to, just no weapons. I think they were missing 3 of their 4 starting wide receivers. Tez Johnson comes in, Oregon, who is now
He's 155 pounds.
and he's Bo Nix's adopted brother.
Yeah.
And
you ever seen that story?
Yeah, no, I have.
Oh, yeah,
I just
yeah.
totally forgot. I didn't know where he was. 7th round pick, and he scores a touchdown. And then he hears MVP chants, and he thought they were for him.
You know he's joking, right?
No, he wasn't. Did you see him on the sidelines? He's explained it to like.
I thought he was joking.
No, he legit was like, I don't know why they're doing this. I haven't done shit. Like, I haven't done anything all year. Like, bro, it's for Baker. He's like, that makes sense.
I'll tell you a funny story. This is crazy. When I scored and I hit MVP chant, I'm thinking they talking about me. And so I asked Shep. I'm like, Shep, they was chanting MVP? And he was like, yeah. I was like, I ain't do nothing this year. And then he was like, they talking about Baker, Tez. And I was like, well, that explains it. But he is the MVP.
See, and you know what? I love that he told that story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, good for him. That's funny.
Fantastic.
He's like, damn, I'm in the moment. I made this big play. Like,
MVP, like, I haven't really done anything, though.
Because he's feeling it, and he's like, yeah, I'm the man.
Yeah.
God, I got it. And they did, wait, why are they thinking this?
then he gets realistic. He's like,
wait a
what the
second.
fuck am I getting this for? He's like,
It must have been the front flip that he did in the back of the end zone as a celebration that made him really feel like, hey, yo, they love what I'm doing.
That scares me. I would be like, don't ever do that again.
That-
Don't ever do that again.
That flip was wild.
It looked like he was on a gymnastics mat, like
Yeah.
those springy mats.
Yeah, it looked like he wasn't doing it with the helmet, shoulder pads, and pants and
No,
pads.
that was
wild.
Like,
That was wild. All right, Jay, you got one?
now, I was hopping on board with that one. That's the one I didn't realize Lloyd had that one as well. But yeah, just go ahead. I guess I'll take the back half of that thing where a grown man can do this in full pads, which is kind of crazy. To
Well,
me.
and then it's not even like a back handspring. He like rotates at the top of it to make it
Yeah.
like that's a wild flip.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hey, if you're 150 pounds, I guess, but that's still crazy. That's crazy to see.
Athlete.
Apple.
All right, my curtain call is we talked about the defense, talked about how good they've been for LSU. Crazy stat. LaNorris Sellers, we're nervous about it last year when LaNorris Sellers, if he didn't get hurt, everybody says they would have won because of how well he could run. He had 22 rushing attempts for 19 yards, but he traveled, the total distance he traveled on the ground was 894 yards. Shows you how much LSU's defense got after him, and he was running around for his life in the backfield. And those 894 yards only turned into 19 positive yards. credit to the defense.
And
Credit not only credit to the defense, but credit to the secondary for defense for pressuring him, but the secondary for obviously staying with their guys and not letting somebody break free when he's running around the backfield.
Absolutely. Continuing the chase, too, because, I mean, obviously, one guy misses and somebody else is right there and somebody else is right there. So, I mean, a lot of times we've seen it before where people just give up on the play and they'll just watch, but there was none of that. So, definitely should credit to the defense.
Unsung hero for this defense, Jack Pyburn. He doesn't get enough credit. I'm not even because he probably should have had 5 sacks on LaNorris Sellers this past weekend. He does a lot of the dirty work, and he is a big part of that defense. And I don't think he gets enough credit for that.
He's a disruptor. It's not a stat for it, right? Yep. So you just have to watch it and know that he's in the backfield messing stuff up. He's quarterback hurries and so on and so forth.
No
so
doubt.
he's definitely making stuff happen.
And this is all because predicated off of the Gabriel Effort injury. He's been asked to play more snaps along with Patrick Payton. Yeah, and so you've seen the depth of the defense, and all under a first-year defensive line head coach.
Yeah.
Defensive line coach. It's pretty impressive what they've done on that side of the football. You don't really see the numbers for it, but because you went against a South Carolina team that had 4 new offensive linemen, you get 5 sacks, but it easily could have been. They lived in the backfield all night.
Yeah,
no doubt. All right, that's all we got for you on this beautiful Monday doubleheader for NFL for football and doubleheader for baseball. Obviously, the Toronto Blue Jays game's over, I believe.
Jaden Daniels tonight.
They're losing 9-6. Jaden Daniels is playing tonight. Brewers. Sorry.
Thank you. Yeah.
Sorry, I mean
actually started to watch.
Brewers.
Pete Crow Armstrong's going to get him one of these days. He's going to rob a home run at Brewers Park.
Listen to me.
What's he doing?
Pete Crow jumps in 2 feet and the ball's 15 feet
It's
high.
like he's punishing himself.
Oh, he's doing.
It's insane.
Yeah.
He did it twice.
Yeah, not great.
That video is impressive.
Yeah, it's almost as impressive as the Steven Souza Jr. video that I showed you when he dove for the ball and he was 37 yards away from the ball.
Yeah.
He legit dove for this ball and the ball was maybe 37 feet away from him. And it was wild.
You got to make a play.
You got to make the
If
play.
you don't
Big
show
hustle.
effort,
Big
yeah,
hustle.
All out effort.
Big hustle. We appreciate y'all. We love the support. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you can't watch us, but you like listening to us whenever you get your pods. We'll be back live in studio on Wednesday from 6 to 8-ish. Again, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Enjoy the rest of y'all night. Peace.
Hit him. A solo thumb. Yeah.
Hey.
So, all right.
All right.